Gentry.
It's 2011, and I'm walking the streets of New York City feeling like a public service announcement. On the outside, I'm so confident and independent and strong-willed, but it was because I had quarantined some pretty painful things behind this thick locked door. And I had given a man the key to that door, and he'd swallowed it. I had officially left this man the night that I had to call the cops on him because he choked me out and threw me around my apartment. And I am very embarrassed to tell you that when the cops arrived that evening, I told them everything was fine. And I'm more embarrassed to tell you that that is not even close to the last time that I saw this man. I wanted more than anything to break free from this relationship, but I just couldn't. It's like he had locked himself in that space inside of me. And he would call and leave these sobbing voicemails, and he would send flowers, and he taught himself how to knit, and he would mail me beanies. And I can't explain why it worked, but he would stitch these messages on the inside of them, like, "You are truly beautiful." And I would show up at his door, late at night, and in my shame, I would sneak out before sunrise, trying to get home before my roommate woke up. And I was not telling anyone about this, including my best friend who suspected and continued to ask me over and over again, "Are you seeing him?" And that's when I learned that keeping secrets has physical consequences, because I started to get these ulcers and the searing pain in my ear from grinding my teeth when I slept. I had been doing this for months when one morning I woke up with the rest of New York City to join the 7 a.m. morning rush hour because I had jury duty downtown. And I'm riding the A train, crowded, and I'm holding on to the railing, kind of spacing out, just kind of looking at the top of the head of this man who was sitting in front of me, and he had this big duffel bag between his legs. And I'm swaying with the train, and we get to 42nd Street, Times Square. And the door opens, and a lot of people get off, and a lot of people get on, and then there's the announcement, right? "Stand clear of the closing doors, please." And this man bursts out of his seat, and he jumps over the duffel bag, and he shoves me and a bunch of other people out of the way to squeeze out of the doors just as they closed. And the train lurches forward. I don't know if you've ever been animal afraid, but it's awful. Here we were under Times Square in a crowded train hurtling toward Penn Station with this duffel bag that had so clearly been left on purpose. And this wave of panic starts with the small circle of us around that bag, and it quickly spreads to the whole car. And people start freaking out, frantically trying to open the doors between the cars, but they're locked. And then someone yells, "Pull the emergency brake." And someone else yells, "Don't do that. If you do that, we'll be stuck underground with the bag." And I'm just paralyzed, staring at this thing. And this very loud voice booms above all of us and says, "You need to shut up. This is nothing. Calm down. Let me through." And he pushes his way through and reaches toward the bag. And everybody goes, "No, no, no, don't touch the bag." And he grabs it anyway. And he rips it open. And he starts pulling out clothes, just pulling them out, throwing them up in the air. And when the bag is empty, he holds it up upside down above his head. "I told you guys, you're freaking out over nothing. Stop, relax." And like a single organism, the whole car just quiets. And I'm so freaked out. When we get to 34th Street, I leave the car because I'd rather be late to jury duty than stay in that train one more minute. And I'm waiting on the platform, and my knees are shaking so badly that I'm not sure that I can stand. And I just keep thinking about this Mary Oliver quote, Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And when I finally get above ground at Canal Street, my phone vibrates in my hand, and it's him. And he says, I love you, I miss you, can I see you tonight? And for the first time, it is so easy not to respond. Thank you.